So some of you may know that yesterday was a big day for me because I did reach my $400,000 career sales milestone with Stampin' Up. So I'm excited about that. And for somebody who had no intention of building a business, to achieve something like this makes me feel very proud. And I thank all of you who have supported me along the way, big or small, whether it be through ordering, viewing, following me on social media, subscribing to my newsletter, whatever it is, in whatever way you supported me, I do appreciate you all. But anyways, the person whose order took me over the $400,000 threshold is Cheryl Turner. So Cheryl will be receiving this gift certificate in the mail for $50 on a future Stampin' Up! Order with me. And then I have one more to give away, but if you look at this, there's no name on it. I had said that once I hit my milestone, whoever ordered with me since the beginning of January, when I announced where I was, the status of that goal was, through the time that I hit the milestone, I would choose another, give away another gift certificate. So all the names of people that have ordered since the beginning of January through yesterday when I met, my goal was achieved, my milestone was reached, I have your names in here. There's actually quite a few of them. So, I didn't even count. I don't know how many are in there. 30, 40, maybe 50? I really don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the, because I just pulled from my online records and was writing names in. So I'm shaking these up really well, turning my head. And the winner is Teresa Scott, also known as Lynn. She's going to be so excited when I let her know that she was the winner of that $50 gift certificate. And who knows, now it's on to the $500,000 milestone. So I'll have to think of, whenever that may be, I'll have to think of another fun giveaway for that time as well. But I think I got a little time to think about it though. Anyways, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Nabe. As always, I'm glad you're here. It's been a hectic, busy week with just working my business. Plus, I've been working on bridal shower invitations for my daughter's bridal shower at the end of March. And those will go in the mail probably tomorrow. So that's been fun. And I'm staying up too late watching the Olympics. Anybody else staying up too late watching the Olympics? Yeah. And the last 2 nights, I didn't even watch all of it. But I hate that I miss, I want to watch it while it's happening in prime time, but I know it's already happened earlier in the day. I don't know. But anyways, let's get started now. Tonight's going to be very different. I don't have a pre-planned project, and I'll tell you why. So yesterday on my Stampin' Peace VIP group, I put, Kathy, when I'm finished with the invitations, fully finished, you can see them. They're really close to being done. Andrea hasn't even seen them yet. But yes, I will at some point show them to you. And I don't have them downstairs. They're upstairs because I was addressing envelopes and things, so I took it upstairs with me. But you will get to see them eventually. But anyway, so yesterday on Stampin' Peace with Mary, or Stampin' Peace VIP group, I put a poll on there. What kind of card theme ideas are you needing? And I listed things like birthday, sympathy, baby, caring thoughts which would be like thinking of you, and hope, encouragement, support. What else was on there? Masculine. But anyways, so I looked at that poll last night, and not surprisingly, sympathy and caring thoughts cards were at the top. The other one that was at the top was masculine. People need more ideas for masculine cards. And as I was reading the comments on that post, one person commented that she would like to see masculine cards that don't deal with the sport or the outdoors. And I thought, oh, okay, what would I show? Because we tend to gravitate to those two themes for masculine cards. Or cars, the usual ones. So I got to thinking, what can I make that doesn't require a particular kind of image? So you're going to help me create today, and I've got a fun cut that we're going to do for these two cards. So I'm going to flip my camera around now, and we'll get started then. While I'm doing that, if you would share this live video, I would appreciate it very much. So you can see I really have nothing out, but except my new readers, because as I told you, I was trying out contacts again, and I do have to have readers when I wear my contacts. And I've got, do you see that hair all over the place? What in the world? Let me put those away because you don't need to see that. So I thought we would make some masculine birthday cards this evening. So what I have done is pulled out a package of Neutrals Designer Series paper. So the colors in here are Mary Merlot, Early Espresso, Soft Suede, Crumb Cake, Sahara Sand, Gray Granite, Smoky Slate, Basic Gray, Mossy Meadow, and Night of Navy. And we're going to use one sheet, and I'm going to show you how to cut it for a particular card layout. And then we'll also make a second card using the rest of the DSP. So I need one person to choose one of these colors. Shanda, thanks so much for sharing. And Barb, I see your question come up that the Sweet Talk Suite is unavailable right now. I would have to look, I was not aware of that, so I would have to look at the inventory status report to know that. If you want to email me or message me that question, hopefully I'll be able to get you an estimated date of when it comes in. Okay. All right. Marion Henrik is the first to reply, and hers is Merlot. Mary Merlot. Did you all know the name of my team is Mary Stampers, M-E-R-R-Y? Mary Stampers. In fact, Marion Henrik is on my team, and so is Shanda. Doris is watching. Are there any other team members on here? So what I'm going to do is pull two sheets of Mary Merlot, and while I'm getting out my Mary Merlot cardstock, I want you to tell me which print to use. Now keep in mind that we're going to be using the front and the back side. So there's the left and here's the right. But we are going to be using both sides. So I need somebody to tell me left or right. I don't know why, but Mary Merlot is always more red to me than I remember it. Okay, right. I was wondering if you would pick that, because quite honestly, this print is my favorite out of all four in that in the color family DSP. And I will go ahead and score and cut two card bases. And I think most of you know you can get two A2 card size bases out of one sheet of cardstock. And no matter which direction you go, you can cut or score in half, turn your cardstock and score in half again. And honestly, it's just as easy to score one sheet of cardstock and then cut instead of cutting first and then scoring each piece. Just goes a little quicker and a little more efficient. So I'm going to set these here. I have pre-cut some pieces of basic white that are 5 1/4 by 4 inches, but I'm probably going to change up the size of that. So what I'm going to do first, and know that when I make this first card, you can alter the size of the DSP to make it more of what you want, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment. So for this one, I'm going to cut 3 3/4 by 5 inches. All right, 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Now on this one, what I'm going to do is cut from opposite corners. So to do that, I want to lay my designers, let's see if I can get that glare off because I want you to be able to see this well. So to do that, I'm putting opposite corners so that they basically the points are lined up right in the cutting line or the cutting groove. And what I like to do when I'm doing this, because it's easy to catch that corner and kind of snag or tear that paper. So I like to just start in the middle and then go both directions to get a nice clean cut without the blade dragging that small corner in there. Then I'm going to do the same thing. Now this is the tricky part because you need to put these two pieces back together and you need to hold them in place while you put the other two opposite corners along the cutting groove. And you need to keep holding those in place while you cut those. If you need some help holding those sheet tape, or grab a child or teenager or spouse to hold the paper for you. So once again, I'm going to start on the DSP because I don't want to tear that tiny corner. So go. So now I have these 4 pieces. So I'm going to slide these off, and I do kind of want to keep them in order here. Oops. Let's see how this looks. I might not change it. So now I'm ready to put these on my cardstock. But I'm going to flip 2 of them. It doesn't matter if you flip the top ones, the top and bottom, or the left and right. But you just want to flip 2 of them. And now we're just going to adhere them to our cardstock. I like the way the white kind of just pops, but I'm more than happy to change out that color to something other than white or Mary Merlot. Does anybody have a suggestion of something they think would go nice with Mary Merlot, but would kind of, you do want the design to kind of pop out. And if not, we'll just stick with the white. Any thoughts before I start gluing? OSU colors. That's a little dark for our OSU color. It's actually, it looks lighter on the monitor, but it's actually more of a maroonish color here, more like Alabama, we'll say. So let's pull out some. Should we pull out some smoky slate? I think there was another suggestion. Marion suggested navy or a gray. So we have navy, we have smoky slate, and keep in mind our card base is the dark Mary Merlot or the basic gray. So let me hear it. What would you like to see? Night of navy, smoky slate, or basic gray? Oh, I'm seeing gray. First couple in are gray, so that's what we will do. So we'll cut these 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Oh, look at my glue just coming out. What is going on here? I guess I shouldn't have opened it till I was ready to start gluing, right? Hello, Mary. Okay, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I'm just going to cut the second one because that's how I roll. If I'm cutting basic sizes, I typically do exactly that. Cut 2 at a time. So I'm going to switch out that white for a basic gray, and now I'm ready to adhere these pieces. And I am using the multi-purpose glue because I want to be able to move these around, slide them around a bit until I make sure I have all 4 in place exactly as they should be, because I want even spacing on the top and bottom and left and right sides. Plus I want all the pieces to line up together. So we're going to make this set of 2 cards, and then we're going to have a little variation and make another set of 2 cards. And I think you'll enjoy seeing that variation of this as well. Okay, this one's already wanting to stick completely. So you see why I said you want to use the multi-purpose glue? We want to be able to move these around a little bit. Come on, Mary. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Except this edge looks a little long, doesn't it? I'm just gonna trim off a smidgen. That's a word my dad used to say when we were little. Smidgen. I just want a smidgen. Okay, so now I'm ready to put this on my card base. And you can see just how easy this is. I'll put the white on the inside so we have a nice light color to write on. And I'll add this to my card front, and then we'll add a birthday sentiment before we make the second card. Now this color, I think this color combination can be masculine or feminine, but you can see how you could use this whole layout, even the colors, for a masculine card, right? Okay, so I pulled out a stamp set from the annual catalog, Handsomely Suited. And this is one of my favorite birthday stamps in here. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to stamp it in Mary Merlot or gray. What do you think? Stamp in Mary Merlot or stamp in basic gray? Either one would be great. Hi there, Joan. Any thoughts on that? I should have shown you that that bundle a little more closely. Okay, this came out last year, I believe, but has some great sentiments, and I do like the ties. And this I've used for Minnie Mouse's bow. Just a tip on that. Oh, look at that, Mary Merlot on gray. Okay, Pam Ritter, let's try that out. I haven't used Mary Merlot in a long time to see if I have enough ink in there. Oh yeah, I do. What do you think? Looks pretty good. Hi, Carol. And I am going to, should I use the tailored tag punch? Or we can use the everyday label punch. I think this one's a little bit small. Oh no, this would work too. So 1, 2, or 3. Tell me which punch I should use. Oh, Pam, I'm glad you like it for a masculine card. Any thoughts? 1, 2, or 3? Elizabeth says go with 3. Oh, lots of you are saying 3. Okay. That's not what I would have, that would not have been my first choice, but I'm going for it. And then we can pop this up with dimensionals. Do you think it needs something more behind it, or are we good just like that? I can't believe almost all of you are saying 3. We've got a 1 in there. Pop it up. Okay, just like that. Now, if you wanted to do something more behind it, you could do another punch in maybe white or the Mary Merlot, whatever. How about some, I think we need some kind of, not bling, but some kind of embellishment. I'm thinking these, but let me look real quick. No. Oh, I've got these fun stars, but those colors don't go. We have the sea glass, but that doesn't go. The black doesn't quite go. I think it's gonna be the classic matte dots. Yes. Okay. And you know, when we add our embellishments, we typically are using them in odd numbers. And of the gray, I only have the smallest size left, but that's okay. But I'm gonna go, let's see, go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I think that turned out pretty well. What do you think? Okay, we're going to use some of this remaining designer series paper and make another card. This time I'm going to cut this down to 5.5 inches. So this strip is 2.25 inches wide. That's what I had left when I made my first cut before. So I'm going to take this to 5.5 inches, and that leaves me a 1/2 inch right here. Now I'm going to do the same thing right now. I'm going to do the same thing and cut from opposite corners. Make sure I didn't, no, I did move it a little bit. Once again, I want to hold those pieces together while I line up the other set of opposite corners, and while I cut from one to the other. Again, if you want to use a little washi tape or some post-it notes to hold the pieces in place, you can do that. So we're really doing the same design, but we are just changing up the size. And then that was, let's see, 2 1/4. So I want a strip that is 2 1/2. I don't think that's long. Nope, not quite long enough. So my gray strip is going to be 5.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And I'm only going to have the gray showing on the left and right sides. So once again, I'm going to flip the top and bottom. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're flipping top and bottom or left and right. This one will be a little bit easier to glue down because we know that the top and bottom pieces are going to be right along the top and bottom edges of the gray cardstock, the basic gray cardstock. Come on. Guess I'm getting to the end of this. Remember, we want all of those cut edges to come together. And then I will apply this to my card front, just like that. Look at this, I'm like trying to use the last of that up. Here are 3 that are opened and started. So I have those at the ready, but those are from when my littles were here. They came down and did their own crafting kind of things, some Christmas decorations and stuff. But I always let them have their own glue bottle. It just makes life easier with 3 of them. All right, let's add some white to the inside. Then we'll get the happy birthday sentiment on here. And I'm going to do the very same thing. Stamp Merry Merlot on the basic gray. So I like the way that turned out. Char, thanks so much for sharing, and hello from Ohio to Wisconsin. Now I have these two pieces. I feel like I need to do something with them. So one of them, and I don't know which one of them can go on the inside. You know what? We're gonna put it on the inside of both. So this is 1 inch. So I'm just gonna cut it into 2 half-inch strips. We'll put one on the inside of each of those. And then I have this little tab. And I'll show you what I'm gonna do with that in a moment. So I'm going to adhere my sentiment with dimensionals. Should we go in the middle or should I go out a little bit? I think I'm gonna go just like that. But with this small half-inch strip, where are my snips? Actually, we can use, no, the banner pick a bunch, it's too short of a piece. So I'm going to just, let me fold it because then I can clip them both at the same time. So I'm just going to clip just a tiny bit in the center, and then I'm going to go from the corner to that top of that little slit I cut. Okay. Let me straighten that out just a little bit. I think this is when since I have my contacts on, this is when I'm supposed to be wearing my readers, and I don't even know what I did with them. Oh, there they are on the shelf. But I'm going to just kind of fan them out a little bit like that. Put some adhesive on and tuck it right under here. It could go on the end, couldn't it? But I think I like it right here a little better. And to draw more attention to that little banner, I'm just going to add a few of these. I'm not sure how I want to do it. A few of these little classic matte dots in the gray. Okay. Then the last thing I need to do is put my half-inch strips on the inside. And you can decide. Now this isn't quite 4 inches long, remember, because our first cut was only at 3 3/4 inches. So you are going to have a border around the left and right and the top. Or you can do the same thing, but put your piece at the bottom instead. You could have even done like a little banner hanging and cut a banner end that way. All right, what do you think? Okay, so you like these as masculine cards, right? And you can do this with any designer series paper. Pick a card or a color that you think would be great for a masculine card and then just go with it. Or I'm sure you can find many papers in our various designer series paper packs that would work as well. But now I'm going to show you a variation of this. So we're going to go back to that neutrals pack of DSP, and I need somebody to pick 2 coordinating colors from here. 2 coordinating colors. We're not going to use Mary Merlot again. So that leaves you Early Espresso, Soft Suede, Crumb Cake, Sahara Sand, Gray Granite, Smoky Slate, Basic Gray. Let's not use Basic Gray either since we just used that. Mossy Meadow and Night of Navy. So you want 2 that will work well together, but offer some contrast at the same time. Sometimes having a lighter and a darker shade works. Any thoughts on that? Early espresso and crumb cake. And these crumb cake and the Sahara sand are always, okay, that's Sahara sand. I can see them, I can tell the difference. So that would be Sahara sand, or early espresso and crumb cake. What's something else I saw? Night of Navy, basic gray. We're gonna skip the basic gray since we already used that. Oh, Night of Navy and crumb cake. Mossy Meadow with crumb cake. All right, so let me pull out 2 more. So let's definitely use the crumb cake. And then we'll also use, what was the other one I'm looking for? Oh, Night of Navy. Okay, so we're going to use crumb cake, but then do you want early espresso, Mossy Meadow, or Night of Navy? Tell me brown, green, blue. Okay, I think I'm seeing mostly navy with Mossy Meadow coming in a close second. So let's go with these 2. Now you don't necessarily have to have the same prints, but we're gonna give it a go anyways, okay? You can mix and match the colors, you can mix and match the prints. So the first thing I'm going to do is, actually, I'm gonna cut them both at the same time. So, and I'm gonna change up the size this time, all right? Last time we cut 3 3/3 by 5. This time we're going to do, let me get my math right, 4.5. So 3 1/4 by 4.5 is what we're gonna cut this time. You know what, let's do 3 by 4 1/4. Let's do that. If I can get this here, 3 inches by 4 1/4, and that is still proportional to the A2 size card. It doesn't necessarily have to be proportional, but for my example, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to cut both of these together. So lining up those opposite corners in the cutting groove, holding both colors of DSP. Bring my blade up here. Okay, now I've got 4 pieces that I need to hold together. So again, if you're more comfortable, if it helps you and you need some Post-it notes or washi tape to help hold that in place, go for it. It is important that you get the corners right in the cutting groove and that all of your DSP is lined up nicely so that everything fits together. Check that. One more check, and I'm ready to cut. All right. Set this aside, and I'm going to cut a Night of Navy card base and a crumb cake card base. You guys are giving me a workout today. all the different colors. Oh, looks like that's already scored. Is it scored correctly? It is. Oh, wait. No, we can use that. Okay. I had to put a new cutting blade in my trimmer today after using this on all the bridal shower invitations and all the layers I was cutting. And I'm going to go ahead and cut both of these at the same time. So again, just standard size card base. And that was 3 inches by 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut three inches by 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/2. And I'll do one in crumb cake and I'll do the other in the Night of Navy. Now, if you're making lots of these, and you can see, you know, I could make 2 more of the same because I cut these 3 inch. So that might be a reason, you know, to consider what size you want to cut your initial DSP rectangles. So 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and then we're ready to put these together. So I'm just going to lay these out. Whoops. Now on this one, the way I've cut the DSP and the cardstock, I will want to have that even border all the way around. We're just going to mix and match the colors and the patterns. You can even flip these other pieces to the back side if you wanted to match up the same patterns. See how that is? Why don't we do that on one of them? Okay, and I'm just going to get another glue bottle out. So I know when I lay these down that the outer edge, I should see some of the cardstock along the outer edges when I lay the pieces of DSP down. Just put cards in the mail for the last couple, from the last couple of Facebook Lives. I can't remember. Yes, Kathy, when I put all of this on my blog, the dimensions will be there. Great question. And the video always gets put on the blog too. So if somebody needs to get a refresher on what the different steps are, you can do that as well. And did you know that you can subscribe to my blog? When you go to my blog, stampinpeace.com, on the right-hand side, there's a place where you can subscribe to the blog, so it will come through your email when I have a new blog post. There's also a place where you can subscribe to my email newsletter. So I sent out a big newsletter this morning with Stampin' Up! Promotions, new product information. There's information about classes. There's a free tutorial on there. Kind of everything in one place. But you can also sign up for that if you like. All right, so now, ooh, I love the way these are turning out. I'm just going to add this. Now you can get really fancy, and I picked up the wrong one. You can get really fancy and add even more layers. Like you could do another layer of crumb cake, but with that layer you could use one of our embossing folders, like maybe the, what's my favorite? Tasteful Textile. But look how stunning that looks with the two colors. I actually like the technique better when it's two colors or two coordinating pieces of DSP from our 12 by 12 packs. Kay says she likes the layout and the simplicity. Ooh, I like it too. I love it. Okay, this time I'm going to, should I stamp in white? Ooh, that's pretty stark. Maybe I'll just stamp the sentiment in Night of Navy on the crumb cake for both of them. Oh, you all are very welcome. I love sharing. It's a highlight of my job so that I get to share with other stampers and paper crafters. And I'm going to switch it up. We have a lot of straight edges, so I'm going to bring a little bit of rounded edges in. This really is one of my favorite birthday stamps. I don't know why. It's kind of just bold and bam, right there, out there. Works for everybody. It pretty much works for anything. I would be comfortable putting the sentiment on a real flowery feminine card. So I can put that. And the other one I'm going to punch in navy. Should I go with the Label Me Lovely or Everyday Label? I'll grab some navy cardstock while you're thinking about that. The birthday really does stand out. It really does. Label Me Lovely or Everyday Label? Okay, I see Label Me Lovely. That's what we're going with. How many of you have these two punches, the Label Me Fancy and Label Me Lovely? Anybody have those two? As you know, they were meant to design to work together, right? But they both work well separately. That's what I love about these. Okay. The other thing is, I don't know if you've ever done this, but depending on the card and what you're making, sometimes turning that larger everyday or Label Me Lovely punch, sometimes turning it the opposite direction is a fun thing to do as well. Love, love, love our punches. I have several men, brothers and such relatives that I need to send masculine birthday cards in March. So these will be awesome for that. You know, we could have actually popped up both layers for that. Now, would you leave it as is, or do you think it needs something more as far as embellishing? I can see it going either way, but I'm curious as to what you think. Doris says, leave it alone. I think so too. I think there's enough happening. And I think, you know, the different colors and patterns and even the punched pieces, they all kind of stand out on their own. But yet together, they just work so well. Okay, so we've now got these. So you saw the first version, right? And again, I used one piece of Designer Series paper to make both of these. Okay, and I am going to give away these two cards tonight. What I wanted to tell you about these two cards and the DSP that we cut is I could go ahead, because I cut 3 inches by 4 1/4, so I could cut 4 1/4 again. Let's just do that. And what I'm going to show you will make a little more sense. So with these, I can make 2 more cards, just like this. But then I also have these pieces, and these measure 1 3/4. Let me double check, 1 3/4 by 3. So think of ways that we could use this. Should we just do something? I think we should make something. Are you up for it? Excuse me. Are you up for it? Should we go ahead and make something with these? Personally, I think we should. Okay. Now what I'm thinking is do a horizontal card of some sort. Oh, let's flip some of these too. We'll mix and match both the colors and the designs. Sure? Yes? Okay. What color should we use as our layer, and what color should we use as our card base? Do you want to stick with the same 2 colors? Okay, let's stick with the same 2 colors. Let's try this though. Let's see if we can add a 3rd color in. See how, I'm gonna ask you, see what you think of this. So we could have a card base. Then we could have the Night of Navy layer. And then we could have the Mary Merlot layer with these going across it. Actually, maybe we would make it go all the way across. What do you think? Would you add the Mary Merlot, or would you just stick to the first two colors, navy and crumb cake? Is that yes, use the Mary Merlot? Blue layer crumb cake card. Okay, you're not big on the Mary Merlot, it sounds like. All right, so I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. It's our pretty standard layer for an A2 size card. Should we emboss it with an embossing folder? I think we should. So we know that when we use our regular size embossing folders, we have to use our large regular size. Let me move this up a little bit. The large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to just pull out my favorite here, which is the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. I have both my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines on my and all the accessories for it on my cart right next to me. So I love that change I made. One of these days my room is my craft room is going to be so clean. In fact, it has to be, because I'm having the bridal shower here and we will be using this finished lower level. But oh, what am I doing wrong? Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. Sorry. I didn't take the time to, to read the directions. There we go. I need a 1 and a 4 for the embossing folder. Barb, both of those colors are from the Neutrals color family. So the, here I can tell you all of them. Both the crumb cake and the navy are from the Neutrals collection. Mary Merlot, Early Espresso, Soft Suede, Crumb Cake, Sahara Sand, Gray Granite, Smoky Slate, Basic Gray, Mossy Meadow, and Night of Navy. And you can see these in the annual catalog. But yes, a few people have asked me just recently, can we do a tour of my craft room? My answer is yes, but not when it looks like it does right now. I just have so much going on down here and I need to get it cleaned up and organized, and having a bridal shower here next month will motivate me to do that. And then I'll take you on a tour of the Stampin' P! Studio. How's that? So again, I embossed this with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. And then we're just going to randomly set these pieces in there, which makes it kind of easy, right? We don't have to line up anything perfectly. And I'm just going to use my adhesive like that. See how quickly and easily I did that? And it doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to be the same angles or the same height. If you need to add more adhesive, you can just lift these up and add a little more to the ends. And then we're ready to add a sentiment again. So let me find those. It's a hot mess over here. Okay, let's go ahead and use the Everyday Label Punch this time. We haven't used that one yet tonight. Gosh, this is long. This is going long tonight. Are we over? Yes, we're just over an hour. I usually try not to keep you that long. And I'm going to show you something you can do. Another way to use your punches. So I'm going to punch the same shape, but from the other color cardstock. Now I can cut it in half this direction and put a little piece on each end, or I can cut it across and have the little border at the top and bottom. But I think for this, I'm going to cut it vertically and add a little border, Night of Navy border. It's probably a little too much glue. Some scrap. Yeah, I know what I was thinking. And then you just lay the large piece over one of the cut pieces. Can you see that? And you can just feel on the edges here if they're all lined up nicely. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. And I'm trying to just make sure that I have the same amount of Night of Navy showing on both sides. And because I use that multi-purpose glue, it gives me the ability to slide these around until I do get them looking the same on both sides. I think that looks good. What do you think? Okay, let's add this now. And I'm going to actually add this at an angle as well, just to change it up for the fun. In the center? No, I think off to the side. I like off to the side here. What do you think? Yes? No? I know people who are, you know, the OCD, a lot of times don't like the style card where things are random, but I think sometimes it's fun to just change it up a little bit. We can add some of the In Color, the Misty Moonlight In Color embellishments. Let me find them. These are ones I don't use very often, so I'm glad I just thought of it now. Does anybody have these? And these colors are retiring this spring. By May, they will be retired. So if you like Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider, Magenta Madness, Misty Moonlight, and Just Jade, you need to get what you want in those colors now. Please don't wait till they start, that they go on the retire list, because at that point they go really, really fast. And I always have a customer that ends up disappointed because he or she waited and they didn't get what they wanted. Okay, so just to make you aware of that. But I'm going to use these, and it's fun because they're square, which is so different. I'm going to put one up here. And they come in two sizes. I'm going to put, do I want them on there? Not sure if I do. I'll put one here. And I'm going to put one, maybe I will put that one there. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I want one on each end. In my head, I'm thinking, Mary, they're embellishments. What's the struggle? You can kind of do anything with these. Now I'm like, I don't know where to want this one. I'm gonna go right here. And there's that finished card. All we need to do is add a piece of basic white to the inside, and it is ready to mail out to somebody with a birthday in March. So now I've got a few cards for those March birthdays, and I'm going to send out the 2 original cards to 2 lucky viewers. If you would like to win one of these cards, Doris, we won't know the retiring items, and you're a demonstrator, so we usually find out pretty close to the same day as our customers, but that will be, I believe, end of March. We'll know, if not end of March, April. Okay, so just watch for the demonstrator updates for that. All right, so we're going to send these 2 out. If you would like to win one of these cards, simply type the words masculine cards in the comments now. All right, masculine cards. And I will draw 2 names, and you'll each get one of these. So thank you for staying with me this whole, hour and 10 minutes? Ooh, that's much longer than I usually go, isn't it? But we were just on a roll here creating. And like I said, sometimes I do like to do this, just kind of create on the fly. And gosh, I can't remember whose comment it was on the Stampin' Piece VIP poll that said she would like to see masculine cards that are not sports or outdoor related. And I think these work really well. And I think you could do this with really any colors that you deem correct or appropriate for whoever the man is that you're sending it to. And keep in mind, when we chose these 2 colors, these 2 different sheets, with those 2 pieces of 6x6 designer series paper, we can make 4 of these cards, 2 and 2, and 1 of these with all those pieces. All right, so love that. So you could say it's a double 1-sheet wonder, since we're using 2 pieces of DSP. And here, same thing. You basically can call it a 1-sheet wonder because we used all the pieces of that 1 sheet of DSP to create these 2 cards. Alrighty, it's so great when we can use, because I love designer series paper. It's always the thing I gravitate to when I'm designing. I absolutely love creating with designer series paper, and so I love that I can come up with designs that have no waste because I don't feel bad if I have to throw away a little bit of designer series paper. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your week, and please come back for some more creative inspiration on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, happy stamping.